Now let's talk about feminism and all of its aspects. Feminism has really advanced over the years through many movements, waves, protests, and more. Women have fought for their rights and we have finally got them. Now let me tell you a few concepts about feminism. Post-feminism. What is it, you may be asking? Over the years, post-feminism has gained many definitions, but I found one that really gives a great example of what it really is. As Helena stated on the Disorient website, post-feminism is known as a sensibility emphasizing individualism, choice, and empowerment in a way that ultimately undermined feminism. The outward celebration of individual female success obscures the persistence of structural inequality and oppression. In easier words, the post-feminism is an individual's choice to feel empowerment, make individual decisions, and be independent. This was a critical way of comprehending how the relations between popular femininity, culture, and feminism have changed. The term post-feminism all began back in 1980s to current times. During these times, people would argue that women use their sexuality for empowerment while playing traditional roles, such as motherhood. This was known as the triple burden. A triple burden is a wife, mother, or career woman. Post-feminism was created after feminism was not being taken seriously. The goal is to make feminism irrelevant. Post-feminists believe that sexual oppression and the things that were done in the second wave of feminism were issues of the past and could not possibly still be a widespread issue upon women. Now, one example I found that really talks about post-feminism is The Princess Diaries. Now, growing up, The Princess Diaries was one of my favorite childhood movies. Today, when rewatching this movie, you come across multiple great examples of post-feminism. One of the most controversial parts in the movie is when Mia Thermopolis decides that she does not want to enter a loveless marriage, but stays to fight the patriarchal laws. Mia forces change to legislation to abolish the law and succeeds in doing so. Mia does not only give focus when due to her royal duties, but shows a true passion towards the care of the Genovian people.
A few moments ago, I realized the only reason I was getting married was because of a law, and that didn't seem like a good enough reason, so I won't be getting married today.
Sit. There may be a dinner.
My grandmother has ruled without a man at her side for quite some time, and I think she rocks at it. So as the granddaughter of Queen Clarice and King Rupert, may he rest in peace, I ask the members of Parliament to think about your daughters, your nieces and sisters and granddaughters, and ask yourselves, would you force them to do what you're trying to make me do?
Now, the third wave of feminism was created at about the same time post-feminism started. According to Masterclass website, third wave feminism is a period of political activism that sought to expand civil rights and social equality for women. The third wave of feminism was created in the early 1980s after Rebecca Walker took a stand for women and made her voice heard. Rebecca Walker, age 53, is not only a feminist but an American writer and activist as well. Rebecca has written numerous novels and speeches about race, gender, power, and more. She was even able to get one of her articles about feminism produced into the Miss Magazine. This is where she claimed, "I am the third wave." She is a very powerful woman who takes a stand for other women and people regardless of what is going on in her life. Rebecca has been inspired throughout her life to dedicate her time to helping others. When it comes down to it, this wave is all about choice, allowing women that are discriminated and oppressed to finally make choices for themselves regardless of what they are. Third wave feminism was created because all of the conflicts that were not being handled properly within the first and second wave. As the wave started, women continued searching for a way to continue their work of addressing women and women's current struggles, hoping a movement would break out and they would finally be heard. This time around, women wanted to focus more on tackling the problems that they were still facing, such as sexual harassment, reproductive rights, a shortage of women in power, and a focus on anyone being feminist, including men. A lot of third-wave feminists embraced themselves by expanding their sexuality, wearing assortments of makeup, and wearing more feminine clothing. These are all things that people in the second-wave feminists disagreed with. Today's third-wave feminists mostly consist of young women in their late teens and early 20s. These young women grew up enjoying their rights and social differences that the second wave of feminism brought out. Then even after all this, the third wave of feminism continues to this day by influencing society. Everyone has a different perspective on the things that are happening in the world. Most of these perspectives, if not all, are shaped by our social and political experiences. Which reminds me, let's talk about standpoint theory. As Helena stated on the Disorient website, standpoint theory is a way of understanding how the social positions shape the way we see the world around us. Standpoint theory is important because of the disadvantages women are at over men. Also, how women create the lives that they have for themselves and gain the power to do so. This overall helps the world understand the experiences women had to go through to get to where they are. The standpoint theory is mainly to keep other women informed of other women's views within the diverse atmosphere they may be in. Women and men are not the only ones at a disadvantage. People also discriminate against race, age, sex orientation, and disability. Everyone wants to take into consideration of everyone's views, opinions, and lifestyles, but it seems to be easier said than done. My friend Lena and I, for example, have come from completely different backgrounds. With this being said, we have been able to learn a lot from one another about each other's backgrounds and how each other had to grow up. Since Lena is Italian, she had a hard time learning English. Therefore, she had a hard time making friends and was frequently made fun of by other women for being different. Meanwhile, I have known the English language my entire life, and I know no other language. I was at more of a advantage than Lena because of where and how I grew up. The differences we both experienced is very crazy, but we were able to discuss our differences and overcome them and come together to be friends.